Okay, we're going to try something new. We're going to have the same model. We'll have our circle, and I'll get rid of the fill. And this time I'm going to create a couple of circles here, and I'll go ahead and increase my stroke width a little bit. And so I'll actually make a brush first with just one circle. So I'll go ahead and call F5, drag that in, art brush, hit OK, hit OK, select this, and apply my brush, and I get that. So it's taking this circle and pulling it all the way around. Okay, so again, if I start slicing it up, it's going to look a little different. And as a circle by itself, it doesn't look terribly interesting. You can modify this a little bit by changing the stroke. I'm just sliding the number up in here. So you can't get to something that looks interesting. But what I want to show you is when you use multiple circles. So I'll make a copy of this. Get that there. That's where I want it. I'll do a Command D. Get another one going. That'll be my brush. Art brush. Horizontal's fine. Select my circle. Apply this guy. So the bigger I make the brush, I can come up with something entirely different. And I'm also interested in a slight variation of the shape. So I'd like to have a little bit more space between the sections, this in here. So I'm going to move this guy out of the way, and I'm going to pull this one out from the brushes. And if we select the whole thing, you'll see that it created a rectangle that surrounds the whole thing. If I select those edges of the rectangle and I make them slightly larger, I'm holding the shift key down and my left arrow key to nudge that a little bit. I'm going to get more space between the circles when I make the brush. So now if I take this, I drag this over here, new art brush, hit OK, leave that the same. Now I'll apply the new brush, and you'll see that this spaces out a little bit more. So then I can come in here and increase the stroke size in here, and I come up with something entirely different. The other thing that I want to do is maybe clean this section up a little bit here. It's starting to look a little distracting. So the way I would do that is I would zoom in here. I'll do a Command Y, and I'm going to just draw a simple stroke. And I'm going to look and see what the stroke width is on this. So this is 13. Let's see, check this out. So that should be 13 as well. And I'm going to grab this point. Let me get them separately. I'm going to grab that point. I'm going to drag that and let it snap to the bottom of the circle. Let that snap to the bottom of the circle. And what I'm doing is I'm continuing this line all the way through here like that. So let's do a Command Y. And that's what I've done. So what I want to do is I want to eliminate this right in here. So it'll be smooth and it'll slightly curved because it's still within the circle. Okay, so we'll take that and make that into a brush. Art brush, hit OK, hit OK. And now we'll select the whole thing and apply the new brush. You see what it did? It just totally smoothed that out. So that's a little bit more acceptable. So another thing that I can do with this, let me back away a little bit. Is I can break it apart, go to the Object drop-down menu and call it Expand, and that's going to make these all to their individual strokes, the white strokes. And it did include the rectangle, which I don't need. So while that's selected, I'll go ahead and select the same. So select same appearance. That selects all those background rectangles. And I'll just delete those. I don't need them. Okay, but these are still strokes. And now I'm going to do a Command H to hide the strokes. They're still selected. But now I can go to my brush and I can kind of play around with this and see what kind of effect I get. And so if I'm looking for something a little bit more delicate, obviously, I can do that. Or if I can even go further, but I don't think I like what's going on there. And then I can just kind of make adjustments to that in terms of how I work with the circle. So I'm going to leave the brushes here, and you can go back and explore on your own. We've got one more movie to cover, and that's using the Photoshop technique.